originally started playing golf in Illinois, in the great state of Illinois. Our house was across the pond from a golf course. I never touched a golf club. Todd had never touched a golf club. We never done in our life.
I didn't know much about golf at the time.
So this is when I was literally 12 or 13.
But I did know that I would spend time in that lake.
I used to get in a canoe and go across the pond and shag golf balls that were hit left of this par 5 on this hole.
I just fished golf balls out of the pond. One of our friends had golf clubs and we would hit them back into the lake.
And then we'd go shag them out again, we'd do it again.
And I think Tim and I did that. I mean, we did that a lot. But I really wasn't into golf at all at that time. I mean, that was kind of my introduction to what is this game, just the country club that was across the pond. When my family finally moved to Oklahoma, we lived close to a public golf course called Lake Hefner Golf Club.
The best thing that ever happened in our lives, ever, was my father and my mother taking us up to Hefner Golf Course and sitting us down and saying, we're going to put you to work up here.
The Wonder program, where we let kids like me work there for free, and then we got to play golf. So both Tim and I were wonders at Lake Hefner Golf Club.
When my parents were working in the summer, we had a place to go every single day with guys that were taking care of us, and we were around in a really good establishment.
On the way to work, they drop us off, and on the way home, pick us up.
You know, and that's how we started. So we really had nowhere else to go. We lived at the golf course. That was the greatest thing that ever happened to us, by far. That's why we are where we are today, there's no doubt.
An incredible putt by a man accustomed to performing the...
I love the game of golf since I was a kid. Love the game of golf. It's all I wanted to do. I got up at 9 o'clock in the morning to watch the British Open. I skipped school. It's all I did was play golf. Played competitive golf, played in college. Loved the game of golf. Wanted to get better at the game.
Todd was pretty much golf year-round. He played more golf than I did because I played the other sports. But we played together.
Tim and I were very competitive when we played against each other in high school, playing for the same team, but also against each other in the same team.
And honestly, we pushed each other.
And that was when it became really competitive because all we did was play golf together. And then I'm coming back with ideas for his swing, and he's giving me ideas on my swing, and we're both trying to beat each other in amateur tournaments. And then we play 4 balls and all the city tournaments and the city amateur championships and stuff. So very competitive. But that was a great driver for me to get better because Tim was so good and I wanted to be good.
Through college, I became a better player. And I traveled all over the country playing golf. I mean, literally as an amateur. And that's when I got to play against the guys like Tiger Woods, the guys against Tim Harris.
And then I coached. 89 and 90, I assistant coached there. And that was another great experience for me. I got to see what it's like to be on the other side and take a bunch of guys and try to win tournaments and stuff like that. So that was another great experience for me, which we won the national championship in 1989. So I was part of that team. And then in 1991, I turned professional. The very first tournament I played in, I won as a professional.
I became a top 25 amateur in the country. I realized then that if I wanted to take my game to the next level or do anything else, I either had to be a full-time amateur, which wasn't feasible, or I had to go professional.
The first real tour I went on was the Asian Tour.
At the end of '96, after the U.S. Amateur, I turned professional. I went out in the mini tour and I went and started playing.
And yeah, it was an eye-opener. I mean, not only are you a million miles from home,
I was playing 40, 45 weeks a year on the road. It was tough.
And the competition was fierce. You know, VJ Singh, David Toms, Todd Hamilton, all these guys I'm playing against over there.
The next story of my life was my son came in the household. We actually adopted my son in '98, and things started changing because I didn't want to be on the road anymore. I was on the road saying, I don't want to be here, I want to be at home. I don't want to be here, I want to be at home. That was the same time Todd was working seriously on his game.
What happened to me as a competitor was I knew I could get better, and I knew that I had issues with playing good one day and not playing good the next. I think this is an issue that all good players have at some point, is that they'll have a really good round and play well, and then the next day it's just not there. They don't hit the ball well, they're driving it badly, and you're kind of like, well, what happened yesterday? And what about today? It feels the same, and there's so much inconsistency in what I was doing.
He was working down at the golf courses, but he'd go see Hank Haney. So on weekends, when I could get away from work, I would actually hop in the car and zip down there, and I could spend 2 or 3 days hanging out at Hank Haney's facility.
That's why I started working on my game with some of the best coaches in the world. It was like, how do I get to the next level? The problem was there just wasn't a lot of answers there. I was a struggling golfer. I mean, I've been trying to improve my game. I had worked with a lot of high-level golf instructors. Like a lot of people who try to get better at golf, got frustrated, got confused. Everybody's telling me something different, and golf became very hard. It was very frustrating and really got to the point where I just wanted to quit the game. So a friend of mine, Matthew Lane, who was a really good player, I played college golf with Matthew, and he came back from the Canadian tour and he had a videotape. He put it on my desk and goes, "You got to see this guy on this tape hit a golf ball." And I go, "Who is it?" And he goes, "It's Mo Norman." And I'd heard about him. I heard how great a ball striker he was. You know, he's from Canada and he never made it to the States very often, and I didn't know if he's even real. Matthew said something to me when I was watching the tape with him. He said, "He hits it so good, he's a freak." That's what he says. I know Matthew really well, and for him to say something like that, Matthew was a great ball striker. So I'm like, it really must be something. But what's interesting on the tape was the people on the tape that were watching Mo in the gallery that were professional golfers that I had competed against as a professional golfer. So number one, Matthew was saying how great he was. Number two, all these guys wouldn't be watching Mo if he wasn't that great. You know, a lot of people never saw Mo hit golf balls, and you try to describe what you actually see. But imagine that every time a shot comes off the club face, that it doesn't deviate, it just goes dead straight. Imagine that every shot he's hitting is going the exact same trajectory. And imagine you're watching a robot hit golf balls, and the whole time he's talking to you about it, how easy it is. Watch this, and just look at this. And I'm like, he's just, number one, I was impressed at how he's hitting it. But number two, he's sitting here talking you through it the whole time, going, "This is so easy." He's dropping the ball in divots. He's hitting off, and the range we were hitting on was in terrible shape. I mean, the grass was terrible. He couldn't even find a decent lie. I mean, it was just in bad shape. And here he is firing golf shots off this stuff, and you're just like, wow. Now, I'd played with a ton of great players. I played in the Asian Tour in 1991. I played in college, and I played with, all I did was play with great players. And I can tell you to this day that, but nobody could do what Mo was doing on that range I saw that day. And then, by the end of the day, there was a 250-yard sign. It was a metal pole. It was about 250 yards away, and he's hitting drivers. And about every fifth or sixth shot, you'd hear a ding off this 4-inch pole. He'd hit the dang pole. And so, at the end of the day, I just walked up to him and I said, "You're the best I've ever seen." He goes, "I know, I'm best in the world." I said, and I had like this list of questions for him. And I said, "How'd you learn to do that?" He goes, "Hard work, you can't buy it." I'm like, "That's interesting." I said, what did you do?" And so when Mo did a clinic, if you'd watch him, he'd throw his clubs everywhere. Like this bag would be sitting there and there'd be clubs all over the ground. And so I put I grabbed one of his 8-irons and I said, "You mind if I hit it?" And he goes, "No, go ahead." So I started hitting his 8-iron and he looked at me and he goes, "Looks like me without a belly. Looks like me without a belly." You know, because I'd been working on a swing for a year, and we just became friends. So Mo would go to Florida every winter, and I would go to Florida in the wintertime to practice and play tournaments, and I would go spend as much time as I could.
Todd actually went and kind of investigated Mo. He went up north, you know, he went and found Mo. Being so close to Todd with golf, I heard everything. At the same time, I'm working on my game. Todd's working on his game, trying to now be more like Mo.
Drive over to Titusville and grab him, hit golf balls, bring him back to Orlando, do clinics with him. When I wasn't at the clinics with him, hitting golf balls with him, I'd get technical with him. I'd get super technical. Why do you hold it like that? Why do you set up like that? What are you thinking about? Why is your right hand on the club like that? What does it feel like when you take it back? I'd crawl between his legs, I'd grab his arms.
It was very hard for Todd because he'd go film Mo, he'd come back, he'd try to dissect it, digest it, figure out what was going on, and then he would talk to me about what he was working on. So I was kind of a sounding board for him. So I knew everything that was going on, as in, okay, I'm changing my grip, I'm changing my setup, I'm doing this, and it was radical. I mean, we'd gone from working with Hank Haney to now Todd saying to Mo Norman, it was radical. So I'm listening to all this progression.
I was doing stuff to try to figure out, because I was trying to communicate what he wasn't good at communicating. What is he really doing? Because a lot of what he says he does in his swing, he doesn't really do if you watch a video. He's not doing what he thinks, but he's feeling it. So his feelings don't match. No one's feelings match the reality of what they're doing. Nobody does. It's going too fast. The swing is happening in a split second. So no one can feel a split second. You can't feel it, nobody can. No high-level athlete can feel themselves performing because their brain can't think as fast as their body's moving. So Mo couldn't either. To me, I wanted to decipher what is actually going on and what's the reality of it.
I went through all that trial and error. I went through it with Todd. Todd was doing it. I'm listening to it. Now, I'm trying to play for a living. So for me to sit there and say I'm going to make these radical swing changes was tough. I mean, but I also saw, I'd watch Mo do demos with Todd, or we'd do demos together, or Mo just practice with us. I mean, many times I went out and just watched Mo practice or spent time with Mo. I watched this old guy who was 100 pounds overweight, seemed to me, who looked like he was in terrible shape, and he's hitting the ball frickin' perfect. At the same time, natural golf was just getting kicked off. Todd had become involved with natural golf.
You know, originally natural golf didn't know who Mo Norman was. It was a guy named Jack Kirkendall who kind of developed a single lever, hold it like a long hammer, hammer a golf ball type golf swing system, which was interesting because it made sense, right? So now you have this natural golf swing that this Jack Kirkendall said there's a natural way to hit a golf ball. Now there was some differences between what Jack was teaching originally, because then he meets Mo Norman. He learns who Mo Norman is, and he sees Mo pretty much doing the same thing that he was talking about as far as single plane, but Mo's hands were together, and Mo obviously had perfected it over time and become a great golfer. And so that was how natural golf kind of evolved into this is Mo Norman's swing. That's kind of where I step in. I got involved for the same reason that the customers were interested in natural golf, because it was an easier way. It was a method that was going to help people play better golf. So I saw an opportunity, and I walked to natural golf. When I started working for the company, I laid out a business model for them. You introduce somebody to a simpler way to play, a single plane swing, and Mo Norman, and then you basically teach them at a golf school, or you give them some sort of instruction. Maybe it's a video or some kind of training, and then they buy some product from you. Maybe it's golf equipment or training aids or product. But then there's something that needs to happen after that, which is they need continuing education and more instruction. So I saw kind of a 4-step business model in the process.
And Todd came to me and said, natural golf is showing some interest in doing golf schools. So I actually went to work for natural golf full time, because we travel across the country doing what they call their signature schools. They do a tournament, followed by a school, followed by a clinic, followed by a demo. That's what we did in the road. So honestly, it got busier. As Todd was trying to help natural golf write a lot of their original material, as in their teachings and their philosophies and the protocols. But I was mainly the guy in the field teaching. And I did that for a couple of years. And then in 2000, 2001, things really switched, really changed for us.
Well, one of the biggest problems I saw when I was with natural golf over time evolved away from instructions.
And they brought in a different lead instructor with natural golf, and he wanted to change things. He walked in there and said, Mo Norman's this weird guy and people don't want to swing like Mo. And the only reason we were involved with natural golf was because of Mo Norman. That was the only reason. So we started going our own directions.
I was in it for I want a better way to hit a golf ball, and I'm in it for Mo, because Mo is the validation to this method. That evolved into Tim and I starting Graves Golf in 2000, because we believe there needs to be a model. It needs to be a simple model, and it needs to be transferable to people to learn, which is our job as coaches and a company, to help people learn it. And so that's why we started Graves Golf.
And then we literally, when natural golf started going away from Mo, their teachings are going away from Mo, Todd and I started doing our own events because we wanted to teach Mo Norman. We started doing our own schools because we started doing Mo Norman single plane schools.
We didn't know if it was a good business idea or not, but we kind of thought, well, we could go play a tournament, and then while we're at the tournament, teach. So we literally put a trailer together with a little bit of equipment. We drove to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and taught a group of 10 people. And I think we made more money teaching 10 people than we did the last tournament we played in. And we said, this is a pretty good business opportunity. Not only we can teach people what we love to do, is the single plane swing, but there's something here that could be a business.
Yeah, well, the academy started because we were traveling for natural golf, and we literally had a trailer, an SUV. We'd pull around the country, Todd and me, and we'd go to a site, do a school, load up the trailer.
That's kind of how it evolved from there, is Tim and I literally getting in a trailer, two brothers, fighting it out who's going to drive.
Literally, we pull into a facility, pull open the trailer up, we'd set up the school, just us two. We teach for 2, 3, 4 days. We'd literally have a great time with the students. We'd tear it down, we'd roll it up, and we'd go out. We'd head out, and we'd go to the next spot.
Setting up tents, putting equipment down, and just trying to teach interested people that were kind of interested and intrigued by Mo and the single plane swing.
And Mo Norman was still alive at the time. So at that time, we would do schools in Florida, and Mo would actually come and do demos for us. Do clinics with us. It was always fascinating. We'd do a school down in Florida, Todd and I would, on our own, and we'd go get Mo, bring him in, and all of a sudden the students look back and Mo standing there. That's just crazy. And at that same time, honestly, I stopped playing on the road in the mini tours. And it took me about 2.5 years, about a year and a half of hard work, a year of thinking about it, until I became a Class A PGA professional in 2005. So in 2005, we really got rolling. Where we now had our own golf school, we were doing it across the country, we were PGA accredited and certified, and so we rolled from 2005 on.
Learn the secrets of Mo Norman with Graves Golf Academy videos.
He was regarded as the best ball striker that's ever lived. My goal was to bridge a gap between what Mo did and what people could do to learn it.
You'll learn the easiest swing in golf, how to practice, and how to
So here we
improve your
are,
short game.
between 2001 when Graves Golf started and 2006, and things are going great, and we're producing videos, and we're getting more customers, we're hiring people, the company's growing, we're starting to add more school programs in there. Things are going great. And Tim's excited, I'm excited. We're trying to figure out what the next steps for the company are. We're launching websites, and we're newsletters, and we have chat rooms, and we have, thousands of customers now. And then I get a cease and desist from Natural Golf.
Yeah, and that's the story. And basically, because remember, Todd being, we call one of the original founders of Natural Golf. So we actually were very tied to Natural Golf. We were selling their clubs, we were working with them, we were trying to do it right. Well, then when we stopped selling their clubs, we broke away because we just said we can't do this anymore. We really kind of hit them in the pocketbooks. So when we stopped selling their clubs, we turned off the spigot with Natural Golf. The biggest issue you'd get is people would call up Natural Golf and say, I want to see the Graves brothers, or I want to see Todd Graves, or I want to see a Graves school, and they couldn't offer it because we weren't with them anymore. We're losing sales because Graves. And that started occurring. You got a company who's trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger so they can go public, so they can sell stock in the public. They're trying to make as much money every year they can, whether it's, however they're doing it. They're losing money to us as a competition. They're not happy. Until finally we got a cease and desist. We got a cease and desist order from whatever owner it was that said that we were no longer allowed to use Mo's name. We were no longer to basically teach the way we were teaching.
And they're saying, you can't use Natural Golf anymore as a brand, and you can't use Mo Norman. And for me, to see the first time that I have to deal with a legal problem in business, it's kind of stressful, right? Anybody who's run a business kind of knows, okay, now what do I do?
That was a process. That was a lot of lawyers' fees. And honestly, if you want, you can talk about the low points of a company. If you ever want to talk about a time in this company, I thought, okay, are we going to survive, or are we going to do something different? That was the time. When you start getting the lawyers involved and the legal fees involved and the cease and desist involved, think about it. You're doing a golf school and you're out there teaching a bunch of people, and it's great, and it's energy, and it's high energy, and you're wonderful, and the people are excited, and you're excited, and somebody comes up and hands you a cease and desist order. That's a different world. And so when you get things like that, you start dealing with those highs and those lows in the company. And finally, we just got to the point where with Natural Golf, it was like, okay, enough is enough.
I get in these conversations a lot with people, and they're like, well, how do you use Mo's name, and how do you commercially use Mo's name? There's a lot of reasons why we've built this IP. So what happened in 2007, we had now rights to use Mo's name legally. And that was aside from the relationship I had with Mo and then Natural Golf as well. So from 2007 and 2011, we built Graves Golf. That's when really the company started taking off. And that's when we started coming out with training aids, training products. In that period of time, we developed the single plane solution video. So we started producing some higher quality productions, basically evolving the company into a better, bigger, more successful company for helping more people. And we had more customers, we improved our products, improved our websites. Evolution of a brand, of a company. And in 2011, we went and bought Natural Golf, the assets of Natural Golf. So we ended up buying our competitor, which is another evolution of a company. To me, if you said, Todd, when did Graves Golf really, really take off? I would say 2010, 2011. That's when we really got some traction. That's when we really had a brand. That's when we had solidified our kind of place. I think it was 10 years. That 10 years from 2000 to 2010, which I think were great years, but those were the make it or break it years. And those were the, try to figure out if this company's going to have some traction.
When you think of Graves Golf, it's making the game easier on golfers, making the game simpler on golfers, longevity of golf. When I think of Graves Golf, it's longevity. It is the guy who comes up to me or the gal who comes up to me and says, I destroyed my back over the years, whatever I was doing, but I can actually still play golf and I love it. It's having 16, 17-year-old people call me up and play their best runs they ever played in their entire life. There's nothing better for Graves Golf than when the guy comes up and says, I shot my age. That's crazy. When somebody comes up and says, I shot my age, that's nuts. I mean, you got 72, 73, 80-year-old people out there shooting their age. I mean, I hope I can do that.
But at the end of the day, listen, I mean, we're not a company out there trying to build long drive guys. We're trying to build simple, consistent golf swings that maximize how far you hit it and make you more efficient so you're a better golfer for the rest of your life. And we want you playing golf when you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. We want you to be able to play golf for the rest of your life and play well and not have pain and hurt your back. We want a simpler way to do that, and that's what Mo Norman's single plane swing does.
And that's what Graves Golf is all about, is getting people to enjoy the game for their entire life, the simplicity of the swing, not being so complicated, and also understanding that it's a model. We have a model. The closer you get to the model, the better you will be. It's pretty simple. I mean, and if I would keep it that simple, what other golf industry or other golf company can say that? That's what freaks everybody out. When I throw a model up there and say, get close to that. The closer you get to that, the better you'll be. And by the way, it's easy on the body.
Now we've been in business 19 years. Over 10,000 people have come to our golf schools. Let's say there's 1 million people out there now that have been introduced to the single plane. That's our mission, is to help as many people as we can find an easier way to play golf and help more people enjoy the game.
I'm proud about that. We stuck to our guns. We literally are teaching the same thing we taught 10, 20 years ago. Have we improved our teaching? Sure. We've gotten much better at teaching. Have we got better training aids? Sure. But we're still teaching the Mo Norman golf swing, the single plane golf swing. That's the first thing I'm proud of. So the second thing I'm proud of is we've literally, I mean, we're talking 20, 30, upwards 40 instructors and gaining. Some do it full time, some do it part time, but they're teaching the purity and the simplicity of this swing. And it's growing dramatically. So watching the growth from there has been amazing. And that's been the fun part of the company.
I want to help people love the game of golf. That's it. If in a nutshell, if I wake up every day and I've known that our company and that I've helped a person play better and have more fun and go out there and have a good time with their family, their friends, or just by themselves on the golf course, and in one more moment they have a good time playing golf, I've done a service to them, and I've been able to teach them a simpler way to play and have more fun playing the game of golf. To me, that's why I do what I do, and that's why my instructors are so good too, because they love to do that. They love watching our guys start hitting it better and have fun.
We're seeing this system really take off. What I look forward to is it's not going to be kind of, sort of instruction or kind of instruction. It's going to be the purity of the instruction. It's going to be really cool because that will be 30 years into it, and we'll still be teaching the same thing we taught 30 years prior in that same model. I mean, when you have a couple instructors out there that you're training and you see how excited they are about it, and this is all they want to do, that's the fun part of what we're doing right now. That's the really fun part.
One thing I'm proud of with Graves Golf is that we're consistent in what we believe and what we teach. We're not trying to be everything to everybody. What we are trying to be, and what I want our legacy to be, is that we continue to teach people a simple way to play golf, and if we help people have more fun playing a game, we all love the game of golf. It's one of the greatest games on earth. I think the people that are watching this video and the people that look at the instruction of Graves Golf and watch Mo love golf too. If I can help people love golf more, then we've done our job at Graves Golf. It's all about loving the game, and in that process, playing better and having more fun. If we do that, we're a successful company. And let's put it this way, I would rather Graves Golf fail helping people learn an easier way than succeed teaching them a conventional golf swing. I believe that the single plane golf swing will simplify the golf game for a majority of golfers that play the game of golf. I want every golfer that plays the game to, number one, know who Mo Norman is, know that there's a single plane swing out there in the world. So I want every golfer in the world to know about this guy named Mo Norman and about an easier swing that exists out there. And the reason I want that is because there will be a day, that conventional golfer where he is right now, at one day he will get frustrated with his swing. He will get to the point of wanting to quit because the conventional golf swing is that hard. And whether it's now when he's 25 years old or when he's 65 years old, he's going to want to quit the game because he just can't do it anymore. And that's the day he's going to call Graves Golf and learn the single plane swing. I just want to make sure that everybody knows who Mo Norman is and that there's an easier way to play.
What?
Some got crazy guys on film.
Let me really give the world a talking about the inward part of this game, because 87% of this game is in between those two ears. Now let me tell you and show you.
Great, Mo.
Nicely done, Mo.
The last round I played with Mo, we were at Copetown Woods in Canada. This was July of 2004, and Mo died the following September. So this is a few months before Mo passed away. During July on his birthday, and we'd catch up, and we'd go play 9 holes, and we'd go have lunch. Well, this day, we showed up, and he wanted to play 18 holes. He wanted to keep going. Now, at the time, Mo, you know, his health was bad. He'd lost a lot of weight. He wasn't real strong, but he wanted to go out and get on the golf course and play. And this day, Mo says to me, he goes, "Figured it out. I figured it out." I go, "What'd you figure out, Mo?" He goes, "Putting." He goes, "Everything's like a 3-footer. Every putt's a 3-footer."
Yeah. Now I can teach putting. I know what you got to do to roll the ball.
And Mo would always kind of tease me with these kind of things when we'd play. He'd always kind of harass me and make fun of me and stuff. And we get on the first hole. Sure enough, Mo hits his second shot, par 4, hits his drive, hits his second shot onto the front right of the green, and he's way off the front of the green. I'm on the kind of the back of the green. I'm tending the flag, and he makes the putt from 60 feet across the green. And as the ball, before it goes in the hole, told you, 3-footer, and he walks off. And so I'm like, wow. So, you know, we played the front 9, and then we're sitting down, and I thought we'd just have a hot dog or something, and I'd say goodbye, and we'd go have dinner with him later. But he said, "No, let's keep going. Let's just grab something to eat." So we sit down to grab a quick bite to eat. And I said to Mo, I said, "You know, Mo," I was like, I'm gonna make sure everybody in the world knows your golf swing. I said, "My goal is to make everybody in the world know about your swing and Mo Norman." I remember he's eating his hot dog, and he looks up at me and he says, "But what can one man do? What can one man do?" And I was like, "Well, we'll have to find out." After we finished that 9 holes, I thought to myself, my goal is to get everybody in the world to know who Mo Norman is. Every golfer in the world needs to know about Mo. That's my mission. I think we're getting pretty close. I think we're getting there. So we still got a ways to go, but I think that's going to be my mission. If everybody knows about Mo, knows about his single plane swing, hey, at least it opens up the opportunity for them to find an easier way. That's a pretty good start.